Hello everyone, good evening. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated like 21st of September 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover a mapping topic which is important for the prelims exam. Then we are going to discuss about some topics for the mains exam, which is editorial based topics. And later on, we are going to cover some topics which are important for the prelims exam. And today there were many topics from international relations. And so most of the topics, like, for most of the topics, I have included map also. So we are going to discuss about them. So today's discussion will be very beneficial for the people who are going to appear in next year's prelims and mains exam. So good evening, Ashish. Thank you so much for joining. So let us start the discussion. So these are the topics that we are going to discuss in today's session. So name of the topics has been listed along with their relevance and also the page number. So in all, we are going to cover up about 9 topics and 1 mapping topic. In all, 10 topics we are going to discuss. So the first topic that we are going to discuss is a mapping topic related to prelims. Name of the topic is Solomon Islands. Okay, name of the topic is Solomon Islands. So we need to understand one thing, that why Solomon Islands was in news. Then we will understand about where is it located, what is the significance of this country, right? So Solomon Islands was earlier under British rule, okay, means like, it was a colony of British. And in 1978, this particular country, okay, Solomon Islands is a sovereign country. In 1978, it got its independence. And since then, like, it has been operating. And Solomon Island is a, let's say, island nation having more than 1,000 small islands as part of it. Okay, so like this is an independent country, and recently it was in news in 2022. It was in news for the purpose that, like, it has, let's say, like, blocked the coming of ships of United States and of UK. Okay, so United States UK ships have been blocked by Solomon Islands. Okay, so that's why it was in news. So let us understand where is Solomon Islands located. So we know the location of Australia, right? We know location of Australia. And before that, let us see, this is the, let's say, map of the world, right? World map. And if we see to the right corner over here, right? So we have, let's say, like, Australia, and on the top of it, we have, let's say, Solomon Islands. So this is where Solomon Islands is located in the world map. Okay. In the world map, Solomon Islands is located to the, let's say, like, towards the right. And then this map is an enlarged version of that thing. So it showcases Australia as a country, and to the northeast of Australia, we have this Solomon Islands. Okay, this is Solomon Islands. This is the location. So if we talk about, like, where is Solomon Islands located, is it in the southern hemisphere, or is it in the northern hemisphere? So if we draw the map of the world, let's say this is world map, if we draw the globe, so 0-degree line is known as equator. So any country that lies entirely above the equator, so it is a north hemisphere country, a country which is located in the northern hemisphere, right? This is northern hemisphere, and we have, this is southern hemisphere. So the Solomon Islands, if we see this particular map, right, if we see Australia, so 23.5 degree is passing over Australia, and this line is known as Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer is on the northern hemisphere. Tropic of Capricorn is in the southern hemisphere. Means, like, we have a line, this is this one. This is Tropic of Cancer. Then Tropic of Capricorn. So this is 23.5 degree. 23.5 degree. So what is the significance of this 23.5 degree? This line demarcates the region up to which the sunlight can fall directly overhead. Means, like, if we are here, so sunlight can fall on us directly overhead without making any shadow. So this is the region up to which, right, sunlight can fall directly. Beyond this, like, there will be slanted sunlight, okay, or like below this, like that. Okay, so this is the thing. Now this is Tropic of Cancer. See, it is one of the tropic. Then the Solomon Island is located, oh sorry, right, this is Tropic of Capricorn, because it is in the southern part. 0 degrees over here. Okay, 0 degrees over here. So now this is Australia. Now if we see, let's say like it is located to the north of Australia, but it is below the 0 degree line. Okay, I did not notice this line. So it is below this particular line, means like it is located where? In the southern hemisphere. Australia is also located in the southern hemisphere. So this is the thing. So here means like it is located in southern hemisphere. We need to remember this. And does the Tropic of Cancer or Capricorn pass through it? No. Tropic of Cancer does not pass through it. Tropic of Capricorn does not pass through it. And even this equator line, equator is also not passing through it. Okay. So we just need to remember that this is a country which is a sovereign country. It's an independent country. It's not island of, let's say like, of any major country like that. So it's a sovereign country. So here, like, many islands are part of this thing, Solomon Islands. So their names is mentioned over here, and we don't need to remember names of these countries. We just need to remember where is Solomon Islands located, in which hemisphere it is, whether any significant line passes through it. Okay, so this is like he said it right. So this is Tropic of Capricorn. I mean, like, this is Tropic of Capricorn, which is, this is south, in the south, and in the north we will be having a quickly move to the first topic for the day. This topic is important. It says taking a giant leap for a new ethics in outer space. Okay, so basically, like, in this article the author has talked about a story, and after talking about that story the author has let's say discussed about few important things. One of the thing is known as outer space treaty. Then he has talked about the moon agreement, and he has also discussed about Antarctica. Okay, he has discussed about Antarctica. So like Antarctica, Antarctic Conference, and also he has discussed about International Geophysical Year. Okay, 1958. So now let us understand this thing, and before that we will look into this map again. Okay, so here if we talk about this world map, where is Antarctica located? Antarctica is located in the south over here, right? Antarctica is here. So Antarctica is nearby South Pole. Then in the North Pole we have Arctic Circle, we have Arctic right here. So Antarctica is located in the South Pole. So in this article the author has discussed about few important things. We are going to discuss about them, and also we are going to learn about some important concepts. Okay, so name of the topic is taking a giant leap for a new ethics in outer space. Okay. So here in this article, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss some important topics. What are the things? We are going to discuss about Antarctica, or we are going to discuss about Antarctic Treaty. After then we are going to discuss about Outer Space Treaty, and then we are going to discuss about the Moon Agreement. Okay, we are going to discuss about Moon Agreement. So now the author has told a story related to Antarctica. What story? Long back in 1910-11, there was, let's say like there were two people basically. Like one of the person was a Norwegian person. He came from a Nordic country, and another person was from the United Kingdom, UK. So the person from the United Kingdom, so he wanted to visit the North Pole of the world. Okay, he wanted to visit the North Pole. And the person from the Norwegian country, he wanted to visit the South Pole, right? And at that point of time, I mean, like, no one has achieved this feat of, let's say, moving to the North Pole or to the South Pole. So there was a race among humanity. There was a race between those people, like who is going to reach there first. and they were not the only person. They had their own team. I mean, like the person who wanted to visit to the South Pole, he had, let's say, few dogs, right? He had few dogs. He had, let's say, some crew members along with him. And the person who wanted to visit the North Pole, he had some horses, he had dogs, and he had some crew members. I mean, like some crew members along with him. So these two people wanted to visit North Pole and South Pole respectively, and they knew about one other's plan also. So this particular person who wanted to visit the South Pole, he had visited the South Pole 5 days before the other person visited the North Pole. So he reached 5 days earlier. After visiting the South Pole, he has named that particular location in South Pole after the name of the ruler of his country. Okay. So he came from, I think, Sweden. In this article they have mentioned. So after visiting the South Pole, he have named it after the ruler of that country. Then this person has also visited the North Pole. He had again, let's say, made a mark of visiting the North Pole, because these two places were frozen places. No human habitation has been there. So the race started, and many other people from different countries, they started visiting the South Pole. Okay, they started visiting the South Pole. And they have claimed the territory in South Pole, that this much region belongs to us, this much region belongs to us. Okay. So initially it was agreed between different members, 4 to 5 members, that like, this particular location will be between us. And later on, the membership has grown to 12 to 13 members. Okay, 12 to 13 members. And these members have together claimed the entire territory of South Pole, Antarctic region, although there was no human habitation. Later on, let's say, countries proposed that there should be an agreement, there should be a treaty. And one of the country has proposed, the country from where the first person has visited the South Pole, they have proposed that no nuclear explosion should happen in the South Pole. Initially, United States was against it, but later on, United States has also agreed, because Russia has agreed to it. Okay, so they have kept the South Pole or Antarctic region entirely for the scientific, let's say, like, study purposes. Presently, there are 4 to 5,000 people. Okay, so presently there are 4,000 to 5,000 people who stay in Antarctic. Okay, 4 to 5,000 people stay in Antarctic, and they are from different countries. And now there are few member countries who have signed a treaty among themselves, but there are other countries also who became observers. So they are also allowed to have their own stations. India does also have a station in the Antarctic. Okay, they have its own station. So we do research, climatic research related activities. So these many people are now residing in different kind of stations over there. They are doing studies, and the author is saying that the human quest of, let's say, like, achieving some feat for the first time, or the human quest for doing it fast and being the first, is a very natural human tendency. And this natural human tendency has made this particular Antarctic region, I mean, like, like many people have started going there. But this race should not be done in a manner that can harm the Antarctic system. So he said the Antarctic system is getting harmed now. Okay. Now, having said that, the author has said that recently, right, India means from India, Indian Space Research Organization. It has launched Chandrayaan 3 mission, okay, Chandrayaan 3, right? And Chandrayaan 3 has made a soft landing on the South Pole of the Moon. And India was the first country to have landed on the South Pole of the Moon. Many other countries have also tried to, let's say, land on Moon. 3 more countries have made a landing on Moon. Okay, they are United States, Russia, and the China, right? So they have already landed over there. But the thing is, why Moon is still intact? Because, like, like soon after, the Soviet Union has, let's say, like, sent its mission to like, to Moon. Soviet Union, then, like, this United States of America, different countries felt the need that a country that reaches the moon or that reaches any other planet, that particular country should not say that this particular region or this particular outer space body belongs to us. Means there should not be sovereignty claims by different countries on outer space objects. This was one important thing that was felt among the member countries. Then they have also felt that nuclear explosions or nuclear tests should not be allowed to happen in outer space bodies or in the atmosphere of the earth. Okay, that's the thing. So with that purpose, people have come up with something which is known as Outer Space Treaty. So Outer Space Treaty was, let's say, initiated in the year of 1967, and this Outer Space Treaty has been signed and ratified by many countries across the world. Outer Space Treaty laid down the roles and responsibilities of various spacefaring nations, and they have said that any country that plans to do any outer space expedition, they should make it scientifically known. They should make it known to the scientific community and the United Nations organization, right? They should inform the United Nations organization about the objectives, what it wants to do, and also it should inform what it is doing in outer space, right? So that's the thing. So Outer Space Treaty was a success, and this was the first such treaty that have talked about roles and responsibilities of various spacefaring nations. Okay, so it has talked about that outer space and outer space celestial bodies should be used only for peaceful purposes. Okay, means you can use it for let's say peaceful scientific research, for understanding. However, you cannot do any nuclear explosion in outer space. You cannot do nuclear explosion even in the atmosphere of the earth. You cannot do it on the surface of the moon and all. So that's the thing. So Outer Space Treaty had general provisions for different countries. Then came the Moon Agreement. Moon Agreement was signed in 1979. Okay, Moon Agreement. So what has happened in Moon Agreement? So Moon Agreement specifically talked about moon as a body. Why? Because the United States of America has sent people on the surface of the moon. I mean, people have landed on the surface of the moon. Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and there was another person. Okay, so they have landed on the surface of the moon. They have collected samples from there, and they have returned to Earth. So the thing is, it was felt, okay, it was felt that there should be an agreement that governs, right, how different countries can perform some activity over there. Although these countries can have their own flag to mark that they have reached over there, but they cannot claim sovereignty on the surface of the moon. So Moon Agreement had borrowed many provisions from the Outer Space Treaty, and not only it borrowed, but it also laid down guidelines that this can be done, this cannot be done. Okay, it can be used only for peaceful purposes. That's the thing. Okay, only for peaceful purposes. So these two agreements that are there, these two agreements, let's say works as foundational documents. Foundational documents for what? For outer space exploration. Okay, because these documents talk about which country is spacefaring, what it is doing. That's why any country that does any kind of outer space expedition, so it generally informs the world at large that it plans to do this, it plans to launch on this particular day, it plans to reach it there on this particular day, it plans to do these studies, and these are the objectives, right? For the Chandrayaan mission, we have notified it to the world at large. For Aditya L1 mission, we have done it. So these are two agreements that are existing for that thing. And although the third thing is not mentioned in this article, however, I'll be talking about this. There is an accord which is known as Artemis Accord. Okay, there is an accord which is known as Artemis Accords. So what is Artemis Accords? Artemis Accords is a kind of accord that talks about that, let's say expands this particular thing, Moon Agreement, to another level. So these Artemis Accords have been initiated by the United States of America. Okay, and many countries have joined. Okay, Artemis Accord has been joined by many countries, and including India. India has also signed Artemis Accords of the United States of America. Okay, The Outer Space Treaty and Moon Agreement, they are part of the United Nations organization. But Artemis Accord has been initiated by USA. Means like what different countries should do, what they should not do. For example, if I talk about Israel, Israel has sent a mission to moon, and that mission was sent by a private agency of Israel. Okay, Israel IX kind of thing. Okay, so like in India, we have Indian Space Research Organization, which is a government space agency, but in Israel it was done by a private space agency. So that space agency has sent a version of the Bible in Hebrew language. Okay, that's the thing. But like there was report also that like they are going to send some kind of insects over there who can withstand very high temperature, who can, let's say, like survive over there. So that talk was there, they have sent it also. So like these agreements that are there, they talk about that like we should not do any changes into the environment on those bodies. Okay, we can think of identifying, let's say, like minerals or other things that can be, let's say, at a later point of time can be exploited for economic purposes. However, we should not do any harm to these bodies. Okay, so this Moon Agreement, this talks about that whether an activity is done by the government space agency of a country or it is done by a private space agency or by a private individual. For all those things, that country will be responsible for its actions. I mean, like from India, let's say a private space agency does it, anything wrong in the outer space, so like Indian government or India will be held responsible for it. Okay, that's the thing. So in this article, the author has talked about that India must set the pace for the world agenda on the moon, world's agenda on the moon. So that's the thing. So this is, I mean, like and the name of the person, one person is Robert Scott from UK. Okay, like the story that I have talked about, his name is Robert Scott from UK, and the other person from Norwegian country, his name is Ronald. Okay, his name is Ronald like Amundsen. Okay, Amundsen. And so these information is not that important. What is important that we should understand about the broad framework, the important ones. Okay, so having understood this, let us quickly move to the next article now, and we have a question for you before that. So this is a question that you need to write an answer to. After writing an answer, you can share your answer with us at Jahidul at lukmaanias.com. Okay, this is my email address. So it says, in the context of space exploration, what ethical responsibilities do spacefaring nations have towards preserving the scientific and cultural heritage of celestial bodies such as the moon and Mars for future generations? Okay, so this is a kind of question where like you can use the provisions of Outer Space Treaty, you can use the provisions of Moon Agreement, you can talk about the recent missions that ISRO has sent, recent missions of other countries, and you can talk about the kind of ethical responsibilities that these countries have. So you can mention like in an answer to this question. So having understood this, now let us talk about another topic. This topic is again important. So it says Vietnam, key piece of America's Indo-Pacific puzzle. Okay, so here in this article, what we are going to understand, we are going to understand about the concept of, right, the concept of Indo-Pacific. So name of the topic is Vietnam, key piece of America's Vietnam, key piece of America's Indo-Pacific puzzle. So let's discuss about it. We need to understand what is Indo-Pacific region, right? So some of the key terms of key concepts that we will understand is, we will understand the location of Vietnam, then we will understand about the location of Indo-Pacific region, then we will discuss about the geopolitics around Indo-Pacific region. Okay, we are going to discuss about the geopolitics, and we will discuss about the role of Vietnam, China, United States of America, and other players. Okay, so we are going to discuss about this in this article. So basically, let us quickly understand where this is the Indo-Pacific region. Okay, so the region that we can see over here, it showcases the Indo-Pacific region. Why Indo-Pacific? Because, like, you know, here we are talking about Indian Ocean, and here this Indian Ocean is connected with the Pacific Ocean. Okay, this is part of Pacific Ocean. So we are talking about like Indo-Pacific region, this particular Indo-Pacific region, and the countries that are part of it. Okay, so they are part of this thing. So in Indo-Pacific region, we include Australia, we include India, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Papua New Guinea, China, right? Nepal also plays some role over here, right? Then Pakistan, okay, Pakistan also plays some role. Then, so now we need to understand that, like, you know, what is the role of different countries over here? Why Indo-Pacific is in news? Indo-Pacific is in news because, like, you know, many, let's say, like, you know, most of the trade that happens between different countries, the trade that happen between different countries in goods specifically, they happen through, right? They happen through sea routes. Okay, they happen through sea routes, right? The trade that happens, it happens through sea routes. And the thing is, like, from India, if we want to export anything, it goes through this particular route and like this, from India, like this, right? From other countries also, they follow this particular route. So this route that we are talking about, this route plays a very, very important role. And that's why, like, you know, there is a treaty also that exists, which is known as the United Nations. No, Indo-Pacific Treaty is something, but, like, you know, related to ocean, we have UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. So United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea talks about what are the rights of coastal states on the waters, and it also demarcates waters into territorial water, it demarcates water into exclusive economic zone, it demarcates water into, let's say, like, you know, high seas and all. So it demarcates various regions of the water, and it talks about what are the rights of the coastal states and what are rights of other states. Okay, so under United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, there is a mention that, like, you know, there should be free navigation for which ships? For commercial ships, for those ships that, like, you know, there should be free navigation. Okay, there should be free navigation through the waters. Okay, means, like, you know, people should allow, let's say, rule of law to prevail over these waters, and there should be free navigation of the things. So that's why this Indo-Pacific region, why it becomes important? Because United States of America is the world's most powerful nation, and it does trade with many other countries, and that's why it focuses on having a free navigation through the sea routes in different countries. That's why it talks about that China should not be, let's say, like, you know, focusing on this 9-dash line in the South China Sea. Okay, so in South China Sea, China has developed artificial islands, and what it does, it tries to wield power, or like it tries to, let's say, subjugate the rights of other countries. So that's the thing. And if we talk about Vietnam, Vietnam is a country, like, you know, that has had, right, civil wars in it. There were times when United States of America was directly doing a war with Vietnam here. Okay, China was involved in that war. Okay, like that. So the thing is, like, you know, but it has, you know, the time has passed. USA has withdrawn its troop. Vietnam has, let's say, come out of the war situation. Now it's a country which is free. I mean, like, it is like sovereign country. It makes its own rule and other thing. But the thing is, like, China still asserts its power over these countries over here. So that's why, like, you know, recently the US president, he has visited G20. After visiting G20, he has visited what? Vietnam. And after visiting Vietnam, like, you know, the Vietnam and USA, they have upgraded their ties and they have made one another as strategic partners. Okay, so earlier they were partners, but they have improved the strength of the partnership that they had. Okay, earlier they were at war long back, but now the ties have deepened. Okay, so in this article they have talked about free and open Indo-Pacific. Okay, so they have talked about free and open Indo-Pacific. So like, you know, this is Vietnam, the, I mean, like, you know, right side country over here. So this is Vietnam. This is map of Vietnam. That's the thing. So like we will see that article once again. So over here, this is the map of Vietnam. Okay. So like in this article, basically we will like, you know, we will discuss about that Indo-Pacific. So Indo-Pacific, we have understood what is Indo-Pacific, right? So now we know what is Indo-Pacific. Having understood what is Indo-Pacific, we need to understand about, let's say, like, you know, why the ties have been improved between these countries. Because the Vietnam now wants to have its own order, means like it is not aligning with any countries, because China is putting pressure on Vietnam. That's the thing. So in this article, the author has discussed about, let's say, like, you know, Vietnam and how the policy and politics is changing and why Vietnam became a key piece of Indo-Pacific strategy of US. Okay, so US has already partnered with, let's say, India. US has partnered with South Korea. US has partnered with Japan. US has partnered with Australia. So many countries USA has taken in its own side. Why? So that they can contain China, right? So this is the thing. In this article, the article has been written by a prominent author. The author has discussed about these things. So author said that the Biden administration has shown an unusual nimbleness in its strategic embrace of Vietnam. There has been a rapid expansion of ties in various fields. Okay, so they have improved their ties in this region. Okay, so I mean, like, this is a topic from what? From international relations. Okay. Okay, so we came back to this. Having understood this, let us now understand another topic. This topic is again important. This is from, again, international relations. This is an important topic. It says 3 years of Abraham Accords. Okay, so we need to first understand what is Abraham Accords, and then we will understand about how Abraham Accords is functioning. This article has been written by the, let's say, like, you know, by an ambassador of Israel. Okay, ambassador of Israel to India. Okay, so a foreign person has written this article, but we are going to understand about this topic, which is known as what? Okay. So let's understand. We are going to discuss about Abraham Accords. So this is a topic. So Abraham Accords is a kind of peace building initiative. Okay, it's a kind of peace building initiative between different countries. Okay, peace building initiative between different countries, and one of the main country in let's say, like, you know, in talks related to this is Israel. Okay, because the thing is, like, Israel and other countries, for example, if I talk about the United Arab Emirates, right, United Arab Emirates, then we have Bahrain, right, and later on Morocco has also joined. Okay, Morocco has also joined Abraham Accords. Now in this article he has mentioned about these countries only. Okay, so Israel, UAE, Bahrain. Okay, he did not mention about Sudan. If we browse through internet, we get different names. Basically the thing is, why we get different names? Because the Israel is a country in the, right, in the Middle East. It's a country in the Middle East, but the thing is, this country has a strained relationship with many of its neighbors, and if we search about it, it talks about, like, you know, with which countries it has normalized its ties. So it showcases different countries, but like we will go by this article because it has been written by an ambassador of Israel, so he may be having deeper knowledge in this subject. So he said that Israel has Israel, then United States, Arab Emirates, Bahrain. Okay, so these countries have together signed peace treaty, and this peace treaty has been brokered by the United States of America. Means like United States of America played key role in this peace building initiative. And why do we name this particular accords as Abrahamic Accord? Because like after the Abrahamic religion, means like these countries follow Abrahamic religion. What are those religions? One of the religion, let's say, is Islam. Then in this article they have talked about Christianity, and they have also discussed about Judaism, and they have named them as Abrahamic religion. So these countries follow, let's say, one of these Abrahamic religions, and they have, let's say, like thought of building kind of new ties between them. And it has been 3 years since the Abrahamic Accord was signed. This accord was signed in the year of 2020 between Israel, UAE and Bahrain. Okay, although these names remain in paper, but the thing is, since the signing of the accord, most of the relations have been established, because like after then UAE and Israel, they have like had their diplomatic ties. People from UAE is visiting Israel, they are doing studies in their universities. People from Israel, they are going to, let's say, Bahrain, they are importing oil. And also, let's say, like Israeli people, they have signed many kind of cooperation agreements. So people to people contact has increased, and there, let's say, like economic activities between different countries have also increased. Morocco has also joined it, and recently Morocco was in news because of earthquake, heavy earthquake of 6.8 magnitude. Many people have been killed in Morocco. 2,900 people around, like, was in news. So that's the thing. So in this article they have talked about about Abrahamic Accord, and the final word that the author has said is that the agreement between Israel, Bahrain and UAE has improved not just regional ties but also brought better opportunities for Indians. Okay, and here in this article they have discussed about one more kind of thing, so we are going to discuss about that also. In the same article they have talked about a grouping which is known as I2U2 grouping. I2U2 group. So in I2U2 group there are 4 countries. One of the countries is India, second country is Israel, third country is USA, fourth country is United Arab Emirates, like that. So this is I2U2 group. So we need to remember the name of the countries. Okay, so India, Israel, UAE and USA, so they are part of I2U2 grouping. Okay, so how many of these are open? Okay, so with this, let us quickly move to the next topic, and we will see this thing also, that what do we call it as Middle East. Okay, so this is the map of the Middle East, the countries that are, let's say, like shaded with a different color. Generally I have taken it from online. So Middle East includes these countries, I mean, like all these countries, let's say Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Yemen, Egypt, Sudan. So they are also considered to be part of it. So far what we have been studying is like these countries to be part of Middle East. That's the thing. Yeah, including Afghanistan. We used to consider that. Then, like but geopolitics keeps on changing. Okay, it keeps on shifting. That's the thing. We have also studied about Red Sea. We have studied about Sinai Peninsula, Gulf of Aqaba and all. So this is just to make you understand like where the regions are and why do we refer to these regions. So now let us understand about this topic. This is again a very important topic. It's related to a bill that has been introduced in the parliament. It says Lok Sabha passes historic women's reservation bill. So this women's reservation bill has been passed from Lok Sabha, and after they have assembled in the new building of the parliament. Okay, So this reservation bill actually, like, you know, it gives reservation to the women in the Lok Sabha seats and also state legislative assembly seats. And according to this bill, 1/3 reservation will be given to women. And basically they have talked about women from the SC and ST community. That's the thing. So it has been moved by the present government. The Congress government says like you should pass it immediately so that, like, you know, immediately they get the benefit. However, the ruling party is saying like we will allow the census to happen in 2026, and after the census result come out, then we will distribute the seats like in different regions. Yeah, that's the thing. So this bill has been introduced as part of a constitutional amendment, which is known as the Constitution 128 Amendment Bill. Okay, 128 Constitutional Amendment Bill. Okay, Constitutional Amendment Bill of 2023. This number is also important because many a times UPSC does ask question by mentioning this constitutional amendment bill or act like that. Okay, so that's why it is important. So in this article they have not mentioned much. They have mentioned like which parties have opposed. Horizontal or vertical means? No, like for SC ST what they have done, like for SC ST, like all people who belong to this category, SC and ST, they will be given reservation in the seats. But like, you know, for OBCs, they have talked about within OBC they are going to do, let's say, like, you know, reservation. Inside OBC there are different groups. They are going to identify those groups and then they will give it. As of now, much detail is not available related to this, but the government wants to wait for the 2026 socio-economic and caste census. I mean, like another census will be conducted where they will be having the caste related data also. After then they want to implement. Okay, that's the thing. So this has been in news. Yesterday I started listening to Mr. Amit Shah, but I could not finish that video. Okay, so I got busy with other things. So now we have another topic. It says legislating change. The women's reservation bill must be implemented without delay. This is the same topic that we discussed earlier. So it is there in the editorial section. So they have talked about the parliament, that's a 128th amendment bill. Okay, so they have talked about that it should be implemented at the earliest. Why? So that women start getting the rights. So as of now in the parliament there are around 85 women members, and after this bill is implemented there will be around 182 or 182 women. So this is what they have suggested. So this is related to that one itself. So they have made some remarks related to this. So with this we will move to, let's say, okay, I have included some questions also. So we'll move to this topic. It says a study throws light on how gravitational, okay, how gravitational instabilities affect the evolution of the galaxies. Okay, so the thing is, like in this article they have talked about that evolution of galaxies happen over a course of time, and the most affected thing that is there, like most recognized thing is the Big Bang theory. I mean, like after the Big Bang happened, the matter in the universe, they started moving outside, and when they started moving outside, what happened? I mean, like, you know, so slowly and gradually they started condensing also. Okay, they started condensing. It led to the formation of galaxies, celestial bodies. Okay, so then what happened? I mean, like celestial bodies have been formed, and during that process many let's say, like, you know, whenever there are black hole interaction between two black holes, when black holes merge, that led to, let's say, like, you know, emergence of gravitational waves. But the gravitational waves that are emerging, or the gravitational field that is there in the universe, so that is not constant. I mean, like it is saying ki, there are instabilities in the gravity, and that is leading to, let's say, evolution of galaxies. So in this article they have talked about, let's say, report of some organization. It says a study conducted by Indian Institute of Astrophysics could help understand how gravitational instabilities are connected to galaxy evolution. Okay, so they have talked about this thing, although like this is just a report that has been published, it's not an established fact. So they have said that they then compared the star formation rates and all of 175 galaxies taken to this picture photometry and accurate rotation curves database. So they have done some studies and they say the evolution of galaxies is happening because of instabilities in gravitational gravity. That's the thing. I mean, like, it is related to science and technology, however much fact is not mentioned here. Now this topic is important, very important from international relations. Why it is important? Because in this article they have discussed about what? In this article they have discussed about Ukraine. So Ukrainian president, he has recently visited the United Nations, okay, United Nations organization, okay, UNSC. Basically he has visited United Nations Security Council. So in the United Nations Security Council there are 5 permanent members and there are 10 non-permanent members, and non-permanent members, they keep on rotating, and let's say from United Nations General Assembly they come and they become part of it. But the thing is, like, here the Mr. Zelensky, I mean, like, he is the president of Ukraine, so he has met with the foreign minister of Russia. They were sitting in the same room, and Mr. Zelensky has said that, like, since Russia is a part of the UNSC permanent members, okay, so it is one of the United Nations Security Council permanent member, so it does have veto power. Okay, Russia has what? Veto power. And since Russia has veto power, so Russia is not allowing any kind of action to happen on Russia, so it is vetoing any kind of, let's say, decision that has to be taken by UNSC. So the thing is, he is saying that, like, aggressor himself is part of this particular thing, and that's why the United Nations system is failing. So the United Nations system should expel Russia from the veto making power. Okay, that's the thing. And what we all also feel that, I mean, like, there should be other provisions also, that, like, those members who are part of this organization, if they are involved into some kind of war, then there should be other provisions also. I mean, like, how to tackle that particular thing, but maybe that is not there in that system. Yeah. So, like, there is China, there is Russia, there is United States of America. What other countries? France and Britain. Okay. So these are members of the United Nations Security Council. Is it Britain or Japan? Now let us talk about this particular topic. It says, with reference to the Citizenship Act, consider the following statements. So this, I mean, like, this topic is from another article. I think the article got mixed up. Okay, so we'll discuss about that article also. Yeah, once I cover that article, then we will come back. So that is related to citizenship. This topic is again in news. We have discussed about mapping of this topic. It says Karabakh operation halted, Azerbaijan. So, like, this region is known as Nagorno-Karabakh region. So basically what has happened, that, like, let's say, like, on one side we have Azerbaijan as a country, on the other side, let's say, we have Armenia. Okay, one country is Armenia, other country is Azerbaijan. So inside the territory of Azerbaijan, here, like, here we have a region which is known as Nagorno-Karabakh region. Nagorno-Karabakh region. So this particular region has been under a lot of tension because the people who reside in the Nagorno-Karabakh region, they are ethnically similar to Armenian people. So they are ethnically Armenian. Okay, their roots belong to Armenian. But the thing is, like, they are in the territory of Azerbaijan. So these people, they have separatist tendency. They want to, let's say, come out of Azerbaijan and they want to join Armenia. Azerbaijan wants to have proper control. Recently, Azerbaijan has launched yesterday itself we have seen in the article, yesterday or day before yesterday, that Azerbaijan forces have launched a warfare over here. They said to do any further, let's say, like escalation of the war over here. So for that reason, this region is in news. So Azerbaijan and Armenia, these are the two countries between which this Nagorno-Karabakh region is, let's say, hanging. Okay, so this is a region of conflict. So that's why it is in news. And then apart from this, we have discussed about, let's say, Minsk group. What group? Minsk group. So what is Minsk group? Minsk group is a group of different countries. Minsk group of the, they say, OSCE, Organization for Security and Cooperation in the Europe. Okay, OSCE stands for Organization for Security and Cooperation in the Europe. So this particular group has brokered a peace deal between Azerbaijan and Armenia related to this particular region. And as part of this group, there are 3 countries who are co-chairing this thing: United States of America, Russia and France. So they are part of, let's say, the chair of this. It has around 57 member countries of it. Okay, so this is one of the largest group over there in that region. So with this, let us now move to this topic. Okay, it says ADB lowers India growth outlook for this fiscal 6.3%. So ADB stands for Asian Development Bank. Okay, so Asian Development Bank is a multilateral development bank, means like it has many member countries as its members. Okay, like in India we have the Reserve Bank of India, which is the central bank for India. If we talk about in United Arab Emirates, so they have UAE Central Bank. If we talk about USA, they have Federal Reserve, like that. But this is a multilateral bank, many countries are members of it, and they sometimes come up with reports that talks about how different countries are going to grow. So recently the ADB has forecasted India's growth outlook, that how India is going to grow. So they have lowered the outlook. Okay, earlier they have said that India is going to grow at 6.7%, but now they have said that it is going to grow at 6.3%. Okay, so earlier they have said 6.4%, but before that, I mean, like there was an estimate where it was 6.7%, but now they have said this is the thing. What is the reason? There are many macroeconomic instabilities in the world. Okay, so they say that Asian lender cites weak exports, erratic rains as reason. Okay, so one of the reason is, like, export is weak from India, and also monsoon related issues are there. Okay, so we have discussed about monsoon related issues as well. So that's the thing. We do not need to go into much detail about it. However, we need to remember one thing, that ADB also comes up with many reports. One report that it comes up is very important. So they have talked about the central bank digital currency of different countries, CBDCs. Okay, in Asia, they have mentioned Indian CBDC. So we know that, like, India, the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has launched the central bank digital currency. Similarly, there are many countries in Asia that have launched their own central bank digital currency. So they have come up with a report. If you visit the website of Asian Development Bank, you will come across that report and quickly write down the names of those countries that have launched central bank digital currency from Asia. Okay, like they have mentioned about Singapore, they have mentioned about many countries. I mean, like, you need to quickly make a listing of those countries, so that if a question comes in prelims, you will be able to answer that question. Okay, so with this, let us now see this particular question. It says, consider the following statements. Real GDP removes the effect of price inflation from nominal GDP. This is true. Okay, so like nominal GDP, that considers GDP data from the current market prices. Okay, so it includes inflation thing also. Real GDP removes that particular thing. Okay, so real GDP removes the effect of price inflation from nominal GDP. Then second statement, it says, since the real GDP growth is a derived number, the rate of GDP deflator is used to measure the rate of inflation in the economy. Okay, so what is GDP deflator? This GDP deflator is a number that talks about nominal GDP upon real GDP multiplied by 100. Okay, so this is GDP deflator. Okay, so they say this is also right. Okay, so both these statements are right. So correct answer would be both 1 and 2. Option C is the right answer in this case. So we have given explanation also to this. So that's all. I mean, like, there were 1 or 2 more articles that I wanted to discuss, but somehow the slides got, I mean, like, muddled. So no issues. Yeah. So section 6A of the Citizenship Act. Let me discuss about that topic also. Okay, means like I'll be a little quick in discussing that topic, and I will include that topic in the PDF. Okay. So here they have discussed about one thing, section 6A of the Citizenship Act. Okay, they have discussed about this thing. Basically, what is section 6A of the Citizenship Act? We need to discuss about what is citizenship also. The Constitution of India deals with citizenship from article number 5 to 11. That is in part 2 of the Constitution of India. And here in the citizenship, I mean, like, you know, there is an act which is known as Citizenship Act. So that mentions section 6A. Section 6A is related to, let's say, like, you know, citizenship of the people of Assam. Okay. So it talks about people of Assam. So generally, I mean, like, you know, in Assam, in the state of Assam, which is in the northeast portion of India. Okay. So let me draw. So Assam is there in the middle of northeast, like this. It is there. Okay. So it is not that much. It is like that. Okay. So let's say this is Assam. So in Assam, what has been the case that, like, you know, Assam shares border with Bangladesh also. Right. So many people think in Assam that many people have come in Assam from Bangladesh, and they feel that their ethnicity is being overtaken. I mean, like, you know, the other people who have come over in Assam, so they are making the original people of Assam as minorities. So there has been an agitation in 1968 something. Okay, so 1966 I think. Okay, so there was an agitation. So, like, you know, there were student unions who have marched against this. So that at that point of time there has been huge amount of, let's say, like, you know, uproar in the state of Assam, that led to the Prime Minister of India that time, Rajiv Gandhi. Okay, so Rajiv Gandhi was there. So what Rajiv Gandhi has done means, like, he has brokered a peace deal. Rajiv Gandhi. 66, 68 like that. Rajiv Gandhi was? Yeah, maybe. So the thing is, like, in this article they have mentioned about Rajiv Gandhi. Maybe I'm mentioning this year, but, like, you know, they have talked about before 1971. Maybe during the time of Rajiv Gandhi, it is not during this thing. Maybe during the time of Rajiv Gandhi, that Assam Accord, it is known as Assam Accord. So that Assam Accord was signed. Okay, Assam Accord was signed. This Assam Accord was signed to bring peace in the state of Assam. So that talked about maintaining the peaceful order, ethnicity of the people and all. So that has been signed. That like, it is a long back agreement. But recently what has happened, in the Supreme Court of India, people have filed cases against section 6A that talks about Assam Accords. So now people are saying that there is no point in taking up this article in the Supreme Court of India. Some people are saying that, like, you know, it is not needed. Now the Supreme Court of India has given a date that we are going to hear this matter. So that's why this topic is there, okay, related to citizenship. Maybe, I mean, like, so in the article it is mentioned, Rajiv Gandhi is mentioned, but when the protest has happened, it's a very short article, okay. It's a very short article in there. Yeah, so it has 1985, okay. So it said Section 6A is a special provision inserted into 1955 Act in furtherance of the Memorandum of Settlement called the Assam Accord, signed on August 15, 1985 by then Rajiv Gandhi. Okay, so 1985 में ये agreement sign हुआ था, Assam Accord by Rajiv Gandhi. Okay, and the thing is like this Assam Accord has related. So in the accord they have mentioned under Section 6. Foreigners Act who have entered, so they have mentioned that the union, they have mentioned that those people who have entered Assam before January 1966 had been originally resident in the state would have all the rights and obligations of Indian citizen. Means like, you know, they have mentioned about these dates, those people who have come in Assam before, like, you know, a specific date of 1966, they will be given full citizenship right of Assam. But those people who came later, okay, so they will be given little lesser right. And like, you know, those who had entered the state between January 1966 and March 25, 1971 would have the same rights and obligation, except they would not be able to vote for 10 years. That was the thing, okay. Means like they have mentioned about these dates. Those people who have come before 1966, they will be having full right. Those people who have come between these dates, they will not be given voting right for 10 years, okay, voting rights for 10 years, that's the thing. Otherwise, they have all other rights. So this is the thing, this is being challenged, but this agreement was signed on 1985. So that's all for the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.